Guru Brando, and this is the adorable Lady Elizabeth Autumn McReynolds Groves. So, I have to use the whole thing.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to try to get this all situated. We were running late tonight. Mm-hmm. Let's tell everybody why. Oh, hello. Okay, so and that didn't help at all. The whole reason why we were late was because we went to walk Alex out onto the field. Alex, our daughter, who is also in the band, the high school band.
It was senior night, I think.
Yes.
And,
she is a senior.
Yep, and so she walked across we all did, and every family, and their kid walked across the track.
Well, not section. Every family, only the band people.
Well, the band and didn't I think they had football players too? And
well, yeah, the football players, the band, the color guard, the cheerleaders. So basically, the squad. Oh, look, see, I put the picture on the thing, and there we are.
Oh, yeah.
I got to do the volume. I got to turn the volume off. It's going to be loud.
And, and as they cross, from one side to the other, the announcer's reading off, like, what they intend to do after they graduate and what they did while they were in high school.
It was super cool, too.
I thought she lettered 4 times for band, not twice.
I couldn't tell you. I would be lying if I even speculated because I am a horrible parent.
Because what you have to be a fully active participant of whatever the event is, for the entire, school year in order to achieve a letter, I think.
Lying.
I'll ask her about that.
Yeah, because I'm clueless. Oh, look, we just keep sticking and freezing. But you're still adorable. Yeah. You look beautiful.
Our internet's been jank all day. Like, at school, it was like every time I would click on something, I'd have to wait 5 seconds for it to go through.
5 whole seconds? Yeah. Oh, my God.
Hey, that all adds up whenever you're working for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah, because I don't have to do that every single day.
So you know what I'm talking about.
I do. And something else? You were losing your cool a little bit tonight, and I had to coach you through a situation. I want to talk about that a little bit. So I just commented on how beautiful you look tonight, right? And you were totally insecure. Before we even left the house, you were letting yourself go there before we even left.
It was mostly the I'm used to going to the school, for the children and, capacity as a parent. You normally would. You go to the office, you talk to some people, you have some meetings and everything like that. And that's not usually a big deal. Even when we go to the parent preview things, that's pretty cool. It's my hang up is being in an area that a lot of people are going to be focusing on, and it was about Alex.
Right, and I had to remind you though that no matter how you're feeling, it can't possibly matter, and it's so much less important than how Alex is feeling.
Yeah, that's why I was able to go through with it, right? Because she's more important than my feelings.
But does it actually stop the feeling? When you think about it, okay, now see, so then you're not...
I just managed it.
Listen, though, if you managed it, then the process worked. But if you weren't managing it, and you had the thought that you would leave, or you had that fight or flight thing, then you would have to talk to somebody about it, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you need to talk to somebody about your insecurities?
No, this was kind of a hurdle for me. I just had to get over it. Yeah. I had to be in a position where people were going to be looking my direction.
And I told you, they're not even looking at you. A, they're looking at Alex. And B, if they are looking at you, flaunt what you got, baby, and be proud. You have no shame. You should have no shame. So going out there, first of all, I know that it's all about Alex, and I don't even matter at that point.
Yeah.
And the part of me that does matter is the part that's proud. I was a parent there on the field because I'm fortunate enough to have a child first, and second, a child who made a sort of big achievement. You know?
It was fantastic.
Okay,
I was so proud.
I'm thinking so little about the fact that we're on a track with our shoes on and it's not track time. That's part of my OCD stuff. So I had a lot of OCD stuff going on, and you would never know. And you would never know because I actually have the tools now. I have the tools now, and I didn't used to have them, so I know exactly what you're going through, right? I know that that insecurity hits, and you're trying to squash it, and it's not going away. And I've talked to you before about trying to squash stuff. It doesn't go away if you try to squash it. It gets bigger. So what you have to do is replace it, right?
Yeah.
And you did.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you replaced it with the thought that it is about Alex and you're proud.
Yeah.
And I was forcing her not to cry. I kept joking with her and messing with her so she didn't cry.
Yeah, that was tough. I could feel it.
Yeah, it's a big freaking deal. I mean, it's an end of the era for her.
Yeah.
And speaking of, we talked last time about Wonder Years. We were watching it, and we need to get back on to watching that.
I agree. That's a really great show. I liked it.
I was thinking about it all day today, but I've also been super busy. And I want to talk about that too, because it's sort of funny. You ready to talk about that, or you want to talk about Alex and show the picture? Get the picture.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sure. And then we'll talk about my thing. Come on, come on, come on. 1, 2, 3, go. She's so beautiful. She is really beautiful. That's my alley cat. Oh, look, I don't even know how to do it. So, and she's going to hate me now, and that's why I do what I do, so my kids can hate me. That's how I know I'm being an effective parent, right?
Yeah.
I should not be my child's friend. I am their friend, though. Only on Wednesdays. And only for 2 hours on Wednesdays. And I'm their friend. Okay, so what was I going to talk about, did I say?
Well, now that you asked me.
First, I want to give them...
Are you going to talk about Alex show the picture, or do you want to talk about something else?
Yeah, okay, so first I want to talk about Grandpa. Grandpa's gone to Texas for 2 weeks. Then he's going to come back, make a pit stop, and then go to Florida with his older sister, Aunt Patty. So, Dad is 80, and Aunt Patty is the older sister, and I'm not going to divulge her age, but let's just say it's more than a couple of years. So, they're going to go traveling, drive to Florida from Oklahoma, or from here, I'm not sure. But Dad went to Texas, and he made it just fine. He drove straight through, and he pulled a trailer behind him, loaded equipment in that trailer all by himself, and I'm like, holy cow, I'm so lucky. I say it all the time, but this entire family is lucky to have him as a patriarch. Yeah. As that leading beacon. But sometimes he don't have it all together.
No.
Let's just be honest. I mean, he has got some quirks and some kinks that he's got to work out. And part of Dad's quirk is collecting things. Yeah. And I feel very strongly when he's gone that we don't touch his stuff. And the reason I feel strongly like that is because as soon as he would leave the house, Mom would clean out his stuff. Mm. And then he would come back and be upset. It's his things, his collections. And so I'm not going to touch his things. They're going to be exactly as they were when he left. And that's tough for me. Oh my God. I talk big game, but I have plans in my head right now, and I'm going insane. So I miss him. Let me just say that. Yeah. But my niece is posting pictures of him playing with the kids, and it just makes me happy. I know that he is the happiest he's been in a long time right now because he's with family.
Yeah.
I hope people can hear us. We'll never know because Carol's not even on. And she's our number one fan.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to talk about something. Well, I am going to continue with Alex for a second. I divulged to Beth that when we went to that thing, it felt like a livestock show. And we were in the parking lot, and I looked at Beth, and I was like, that this is just a livestock show. So I don't even know why you're nervous, because it's her we're selling, And that's the truth. You prance them out so the recruiters, the sports recruiters, and the Army recruiters or military recruiters, whatever, so they can see the class. of people that Highland turns out. They want to sponsor them in something.
Yeah,
because they're all great kids.
Yeah,
I mean, they're amazing.
The whole event was really cool. I thought it was neat. I don't remember seeing anything like that whenever I was a senior in high school. And,
well, we were in Texas and we had livestock shows to do.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's like, so I guess when you don't have a livestock show, then you do a senior night. But super proud of her. I just can't even believe that we're that old.
Gosh.
She was a horrible child.
It only seems like it
awful.
when you think of it in terms of years.
I know. I'm like, my mind is really blown right now. She was just such a horrible child. Just terrible. She cried nonstop for 9 months straight. Cried and threw up just constantly. That was all. We burned up a vacuum because we had to keep it on just to make her go to sleep.
Yeah.
She would
had a
cry
thing where,
and we flip it on and then silent instantly and
she'd go right to sleep.
Made no damn sense at all. And she had a big Hunter air purifier in her room up until we moved from Bragg.
Yeah,
it was still in there.
Gosh, that thing weighed like 40 pounds too.
And she was what, like 10?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So yeah, she slept with it for a really long time. So poor TJ after he marries her. I'm serious. Okay, so I was going to talk about something else. Couldn't tell you. Have no idea. I was talking about clients.
It was Wonder Years.
Something happened recently. So I'm talking to my Aunt Donna, who I adore, and she always makes me feel good, right? And so I was a little bit low because I was so freaking busy. And I don't have time for my friends. I don't have time for my family, and it's a little sad for me.
Do you see the pictures of her?
I haven't looked at any of it yet.
But
really
cool.
So I've been missing my chats with her and everything. So I was sort of talking to her and unloading a little bit, and she simply said that she wishes my business well and that she knows I'll be prosperous.
Yeah.
And as soon as she said that, I swear to you, like that very next day, I got 4 new clients, and I am not complaining at all. I love having clients, and I love being busy. It's absolutely fantastic, but I wasn't expecting it so soon, and so I wasn't prepared. So I've been trying to hurry up and get back to the game. I need to streamline a little bit in order to make sure that I can pay the same amount of attention to each client, and it's a juggling act because right now I'm at 12, which is above capacity for me. And so I will figure it out. And part of the reason is because I have you on calendar. You're a floater, though.
Yeah.
That's what I call you, as a floater. You and Carol. Y'all are floaters. I stick y'all in sometimes. But you're doing every 2 weeks. Do you feel like you're doing pretty well coaching?
Yeah. Some days are more of a struggle than others, but I walk away lately. I've been walking away from every day with something that I've been able to accomplish, within myself.
Hey, will you do me a favor? Speaking of accomplishments, turn off the air purifier so they might be able to hear us a little bit better.
Okay.
And plus, they get to see how pretty your dress is. Oh, and her sciatica has been messed up. So
yeah, that's been fun. It's made things challenging getting through this house with sciatic pain.
I think it's kind of funny to watch, just like you used to snicker at me, because you look like a little old woman in the cartoons sometimes.
Well, sometimes it's kind of funny pain. It's like this, you just can't help but laugh about it.
Yeah, it's like somebody shoots you in the buttocks.
And sometimes it's like
you want to rip your face off.
It's so bad that it almost feels good.
Yeah. Welcome to my daily roller coaster, right? I had an interesting exchange with Oliver. He always has some kind of something to say.
Doesn't he?
I don't.
It never gets old with him. It's always something new.
Well, you had one. What was the one that he said to you the other day?
Oh gosh. Oh, I can't remember now.
What's wrong with you? How come you can't remember such an adorable little boy?
Because he says such random things.
So he had, just like all kids, occasionally get loose stools. Leave it to me to always have some bathroom related content, right? Okay. So he had been complaining about his stomach hurting. And of course, our go to, maybe it's because we're from the South, our go to is, have you pooped? Do you need to poop? Because it's all about the poop. And so he went in to go to the bathroom, and then he reported back. Okay, so he was reporting back to Beth to let her know that he felt relieved now because he had diarrhea. And he did not want to flush the commode because he was concerned that the diarrhea would stop up the...
He needed an adult.
And, I don't mean to laugh, but it reminded
so
me, it reminded me when Quentin was 10 and we lived in Linden Oaks in North Carolina, Fort Bragg, and he did not want to flush the commode because, well, he left a note describing it. I took a picture of it. I'll have to share it one day.
I remember that.
But it said, I don't know who's going to flush this, but it's not going to be me.
Yeah.
And he scribbled it in dry erase marker on a scrap piece of printer paper. And he used masking tape to tape it to the lid.
He sure did. I guess it was too much for him because the toilet was, I guess, too loud for him, so he would put his hands like this and then use his elbow to...
Oh, I can't take it. It was so funny. I thought I was going to die. So I took a picture of it and flushed the toilet and everything was fine. So you had the same situation, except Oliver didn't leave a note. He came and he told us, and so you covered down on it and everything went down fine. In the meanwhile... In the meanwhile, Oliver's in here talking to me, okay? And so the conversation goes like this. Man, I really don't like having diarrhea. And I was like, I really don't either. And I said, do you have a fever? And he said, I don't think so. You better check. So I checked, and he said, if I have to go to the doctor, will I get checked out of school and then go back? Or can I just not go back to school?
That's what
and I said, it depends on whether or not it's a virus that you have or whether or not it's just loose stools from your diet. And he goes, what are loose stools? And I said, well, a BM is called a stool. And he goes, what's a BM? And he goes, oh, like your initials, which is why I use BMC. Okay, so I was like, yeah, you little jerk, just like my initials, bowel movement. That's what it stands for, and bowel movement is a poop. And he goes, why didn't you just say poop? And I said, because it's called loose stools for a reason. And he goes, well, why is it called loose stools? And I said, because the commode is called the stool. And he goes, why is it called the stool? Well, I don't know. We have Google. Ask Google. I don't know why it's called the stool. I didn't invent the thing. And so he just looks at me and he goes, talking about the loose stools. It's like, what? And he goes, what would cause that? And I said, well, typically it's just something in your diet. Perhaps it's all the fruit that you ate the day before because you ate grapes. Did you eat several? And he goes, yes, I had several grapes. And I said, okay, that's probably what gave you loose stools. And he snickered a little bit and he goes, from now on, I'm taking the skin off the grapes. Because I told him it was fiber. And he knows fiber makes you poop. So he is going to be cautious now for the rest of his life eating grapes. I guarantee you, because we had an entire conversation. And he was just as serious as could be.
He might try that for a minute, but it's going to turn into, I can't wait to eat the grapes.
I know, yeah. Who the hell peels grapes? I mean, really. Unless it's Halloween and you want to use them in that thing that you...
Yeah, they're like eyeballs.
Oh, so I have good news to share.
Okay, what's your good news?
My good news is because apparently I'm finally old enough to naturally go through menopause. That's right, folks, because, I still have lady parts inside. Because I officially am old enough to go through menopause, I do not have to take my testosterone every week anymore. The shot, I now get to take it once a month. So for 7 years, I've been taking my shot every week or thereabouts every week. And, it might be plus 5 days sometimes. Sometimes I forget. But for the most part, it's been consistent every week for the past 7 years. And now every month, it's so exciting. All because finally Mother Nature loves me and says, let's shut down all the stuff there. So I'm pretty happy about that because I dread the shot every flipping time. Even though I know that it's just going to go in, it's just going to sting for a second, it's the fact that I have to sit there and hold it steady in my leg while inflicting pain on myself. Your reaction is to not have it in your leg. You want to pull it out.
Yep.
Do you remember when Alex did that? Like I said, she was a horrible child. We go to get her immunizations, and they would stand in front of them and have them laid back on the table. That way they sort of pinned their legs, but not in a bad way. Okay, so they had her laid back, and you were holding her. And they put 2 in each leg. So there were 2 nurses in there, and one put 2 in one leg, and the other put 2 in the other leg. And as soon as you were supposed to be holding her arms, and you were new to this. This was the first time. And and she just ripped right out, and she grabbed it and she pulled it right out. And you were horrified, your face, and I was horrified, and she was horrified, and we didn't know what she was going to do with it. And so the nurse grabbed her arm, do you remember, and got it from her really quick. But it was like, wow, that just happened, and she had a little cut from it. And then they still had to give her that shot, after all that. Yep. So, Nightmare City. That's probably what traumatized her and why she's so crazy now.
I'm sure that was it.
I'm almost positive, because what else could it be? We were perfect parents, right? Ooh, sorry, guys. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a perfect parent. I'm a perfect parent, don't you think? How am I a wonderful parent as our kids are in the other room
wonderful
fighting?
Parent is different than a perfect parent.
I'm starting with wonderful. I'm leading up to perfect. You can't start with perfect.
Nobody's
because then
perfect.
Wonderful looks like crap.
Nobody's perfect.
Don't try.
I'll lick your hand.
I'll slap it. I'll slap that tongue out your mouth.
Okay, let's test the theory.
Let's not, because it feels like it hit me. Now I have a picture of a big nasty slug rolling around in my hand because you're gross. Anywho, what was
Put your hand on my mouth. It gets licked.
Tell me a joke.
I saw a funny one today, but I don't know if I can remember what it was.
Don't vape.
It was I don't remember what it is. But I did read one. It was pretty funny.
Okay, so instead of doing questions tonight, I am going to make you talk about yourself for 5 minutes straight.
Why?
Because I adore you.
You adore torturing me.
That also. Okay, so are you ready?
I can't promise I'm going to fill every second with a word.
Yes, you are. You have to talk continuously for 5 minutes straight.
Do
you
ask
need
me
a
questions.
topic?
Yes, I do.
Well, nobody's on to ask a question.
Well,
oh crap!
I can just stare at the camera for 5
Look,
minutes.
I was looking for the mouse that was way up here, and I thought it was the microphone. Okay, a question would be, what was the first impression that you had of a professional when you were a kid? Like, who did you? Because you grew up military, and so in Air Force.
Oh God.
Right.
Yeah.
So
no,
what was the? Okay.
What the first time I met the MPs.
All right. So talk about that. Go.
You should have already started that. That should have been started like over a minute ago.
You're wasting time.
Does that say 49 minutes?
Just go.
I thought you said 5 minutes.
Go. You're wasting time. It's ticking.
Gosh, this is really weird talking about now.
Well, you don't have to name names, but
Uh,
you can just talk about your encounter.
well, to make a long story short, um, domestic violent events happened on a military base in Berlin, where we lived, and um, which eventually led to me meeting the MPs. And
Your time in Germany.
yeah, my time in Germany. I have 3 different times in Germany. Um, and it wasn't like, I wasn't questioned or anything like that. It was just seeing them, for the first time, that
Yeah,
figure of authority.
right. That's what I want you to talk
And
about.
they're all clean cut, and all their uniforms were all super sharp and scary, to a
So,
5-year-old.
right. So you were intimidated, but were you impressed? Did
Oh
they
yeah,
impress
yeah.
professionalism upon you?
Oh yeah. We used to go to the end of the road where we lived, and because there's still a lot of different, military equipment. I think there was still like Russian stuff there, and but we would watch tanks go by, and watch. Sometimes they would have a some sort of parade or something, or we'd see soldiers doing stuff. It was always, something that I would just stare at and watch. Every little thing that they did, they were all these adult super people.
Adult super people?
Yeah, like, nobody could hurt them.
So, what did you want to be professionally? When you thought about somebody who was professional, what did you aspire to be?
When it came down to figuring out what I wanted to do in my life,
Hmm.
um, I wanted to be a professional artist of some kind.
Okay.
It was makeup artist at first because I big time movie buff, especially horror and science fiction, and always watching the behind the scenes and learning how it's made, and seeing all the little tricks that the makeup effects people do to make all these things look so high speed.
So, what made that professional in your mind? What what would lend you to believe that there were professionals that could do art? Because your dad didn't feel that way. He didn't feel like if you were an artist, you'd be a professional.
Yeah, you'd be a starving artist.
Right. So, what in your mind said that that was professionalism?
Um, I think that whenever if you're sitting on the corner of a street and you're playing a guitar really well, for money, that's one thing. Um, but if you take your craft and then you can apply it in a big way that
What do you mean in a big way? Like to the masses, mass
yeah,
produce it?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
So that's what makes you a professional. The more people you can reach.
it's I don't know if it's really that so much. It's the level in which you do your work is what makes you a professional.
Right.
Um,
But you have to impress that upon people in order to get a market, right?
right, and those who can market themselves properly, and they,
And that
they get
comes
dividends on their efforts.
right. Okay, so what you put out, what you invest, you get in return.
But you can be a professional artist and not make a dime.
You absolutely can. So it depends on your skill and the market. Because if your skill is not in the market, you're not going to be a professional artist. You'll be a starving artist. If you try to market yourself as an artist and the market at that time isn't into your art,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to make money at it. So,
Yep.
first and foremost, in order to be professional, you have to be marketable, right? Your job skills have to be marketable.
Yeah.
So, you have to either have talent or skill that's marketable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in your eyes, a perfect professional or a perfect artist would be professional. If you were making money at it and you get to gauge your perfection, your perfect life would be a professional artist who's making money and reaching the masses.
I like the being able to make a living out of what you love, aspect of it, and that's the whole point of getting a return on it. But I don't know. I look at you know, um, a lot of people do some of this, some of the most fantastic art we've ever seen, and it's, they're just like, oh, I just do it because.
So, right. So, guess what? Somebody's idea of perfect means okay, right? So, my idea of perfect art is you right now in your natural state,
Modern art,
just
maybe.
sitting there. Vintage. That's vintage art. Just sitting there chilling. That to me is impressionable, right? So you want something that impresses something upon you, on you, on your spirit, right? Especially when you're looking at art. So to me, if I were to put you in a still life or portrait or something, to me that's art. I would appreciate that. So, it's all subjective, right? It's just like whenever I started this conversation, I said, I am a perfect parent. And I stand by that. You said there's no such thing as perfect. But yes, in everyone's eyes, there's such thing as perfect. And I have reached my pinnacle of perfect. And that means if I am any better tomorrow, that's the icing on the cake, right? Because to me, progression is what it's all about. It's about always growing and learning and changing, being that idea of who you choose. And so if that's my idea of perfect, then I've reached perfect today. I reached perfect yesterday. And my idea of being a perfect parent is being an okay parent. That means I'm okay with the options that, I'm giving my kids, and I'm okay with their responses to the options. So today I feel okay. It doesn't mean tomorrow I will, but I'm always faithful.
Yeah.
Right? I am always faithful. And you sometimes are challenged by it. And by the way, you did talk 7 minutes.
Okay. Well, that's
Something
good.
like that. But I could be just warped in time.
No, 7 minutes works for me. 7 minutes. You heard it, everybody.
I don't really think it was 7
7
minutes.
minutes.
I just totally pulled that out of my ass, just so you know. I just gave up. Um, when you think about being a perfect parent, in your mind, are you your epitome of perfect?
No.
Really? So
No.
today you have not achieved an expectation that you set for yourself.
I have achieved. But
An
every day.
expectation that you set for yourself.
Yes.
Okay, then today you can be a perfect parent, because if you met an expectation, that's perfect. Do you hear that? That's perfect. If you meet an expectation, that's perfect. And by cracky babe,
Okay, so
you
that's
don't celebrate being perfect often enough.
like subjective
Of
perfect.
course it is. That's what perfect is. It's subjective. Because everything is fluid. There is no binary. There's no binary that says that, my perfect is your perfect.
Yeah, I understand that.
That would be binary. And everything is always fluid. It's either less effective or more effective. But nothing's ever right or wrong. Nothing's ever yes or no, closed or open. It's ever evolving. I liked today and I liked tonight. I have a full calendar, full schedule of people. I get to learn a new skill, which is trying to get a waiting list to automate on my website, because if I take any more clients, I may not have time for the family. That was
Right.
almost bad.
Or yourself.
And yeah, well, I always have time for myself. I get up early, you know. I have that time to shower. That's how I know I'm really bad, is if I skip a day of showering. Then I'm like, oh, wow, I'm really busy. But you had to wash my underwear. This is the third time now you've had to wash my clothes.
Oh, I don't mind.
I didn't say you mind. And I appreciate that you do it. But, man, I tell you what, I need some balance, don't I?
Yeah.
And I'm working on it this week, getting that balance. We are going to be going on a fun trip soon.
Yes, it's gonna be so cool. Can't wait.
And it's in Bloomington. And
How far is that?
I don't know. It's not far. Nothing's really far here. Not like in Texas.
No, it wouldn't be much more than a couple of hours.
But it's not that far. Anywho, so we're going to stay at a haunted mansion. and we got the whole place. We rented the place out, and we didn't personally rent the place out. The group that we're going with
Yeah.
rented it out. And
How many of us are there?
I don't know. I don't remember. There's a whole gaggle of us though, so we're gonna have a good time. And of course, I'll have pictures and videos and all kinds of stuff.
Food.
You're always about the food.
Food.
Speaking of food, what are we having tonight?
I got plenty of leftovers in there.
Wow.
I got pot
Date
roast.
date night leftovers.
Do you want to go get some Taco Bell?
I just heard that. Taco Bell, guys. Look at that. Now you're speaking my language.
I'll eat some Taco Bell.
You'll eat whatever I give you, and you said leftovers. What if I don't want to buy you anything
I'm going to
now?
bite a hole in your arm.
Okay, so you did something really strange.
What?
You were sitting over there.
Which in particular?
Yeah, one thing. You were sitting in the chair over yonder, and Alex was sitting where you are now. And Alex and I were having a conversation. And you started laughing hysterically like a hyena. And I still don't quite understand why it was so funny to you, our exchange. But you even videoed it. You videoed our exchange, Alex and mine, and laughed hysterically about it.
Yeah.
And I'm at a loss.
Because it was candid banter between you two that, I thought it was one of those moments that it was worth capturing. Whenever you... Because it was like, this was our kid in diapers, and now she's a young woman.
Oh my God, are you doing the sunrise sunset moment right now?
She's,
sunrise,
giving you the business. And that's what she was doing.
Sunrise, sunset.
We got 2 more.
We have 2 more. And Lucas is going to peel out as soon as he can get out. I know he is. He is ready for the world of engineering. And Oliver is going to stay at home with Quentin. You watch.
I don't know. He seems kind of a go-getter.
Well, he wants to go everywhere and do everything, but he never wants to leave you behind. So maybe he'll be the kid that I can get the RV with. He and I'll go travel, and you and the youngins can stay back. I can't even imagine being a grandparent, as Dad is there in Texas visiting family, and he's hanging out with his great-grandchildren. Yeah. I'm sitting here going, holy crap. When we get to be grandparents, how is Trampa going to be? That's going to be my name, Trampa. You think I'm lying. I'm going to get a shirt made the second I find out.
Well, I'll be Grandma.
Yeah, I think you're Granny. You're not Grandma, you are Granny. You have wet sloppy kisses and banana taffy. You're Granny.
I don't have any banana taffy.
Oh, you always have some Laffy Taffy or some
some?
Airheads. I do have some, actually.
Where?
I'm not telling you because then you'll eat it. I'm not sharing my candy with you. I got you some candy corn. It's back there.
I bet.
Oh my God! Stop looking at my stashes.
It's in that one called
Stop
Snacks.
it. It is not there, people. It's not. Anyway, do you have anything that you want to talk about? Have you learned anything this past couple of weeks? Or this past week in general? Have you learned anything impressive in school?
Oh, no.
Because we're real people, folks.
Yeah.
That's why we have these conversations on date night with y'all.
No, I'm in American poetry now, and
I heard American Dragon.
Yeah.
That's what I just heard.
I've smoked that other course. It's done. Got an A. And but now I'm doing this, and there's a lot of assignments I got to keep track of. I have a blog to write, peer responses to do, and the initial post, and then plus an assignment post every week, and it's just like a lot of reading and writing.
And are you getting better at it?
Getting faster at it.
Then guess what? You're practicing a new skill.
I think I'm back up to about 40 words a minute.
And most people don't think about this, but change is uncomfortable. And if you're not uncomfortable with something, you're not actually growing. Now, I didn't say be pained or distressed, right? I said uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because anytime you're learning something new, you don't know it. You're not the best at it. You're not your idea of perfect. So the goal is set your expectation. to be a learner. So if you go into school saying, you know what, today I'm going to learn something, and not today I'm going to ace this class or I'm going to ace this paper or whatever, be modest with your expectations, right? Mm-hmm. And if you do, then you'll stay balanced, because balance is modest. You know, you really have to take a look at yourself and take stock and go, what am I capable of doing right now? And then set goals for the plan for the future. Just like you did, right? Mm-hmm. I'm done talking.
Yeah, ready to chill.
I'm ready to get some food. Who is it? Come in. Oh,
turn lights on.
It's Q. So he gets to be live with us.
Yep.
Come in here.
See the recording light on.
Yeah, because Mom failed.
You want me to turn it on?
I failed.
No, just come in and chill. Talk for 5 minutes. We're about to get off here.
Alrighty. Move your stuff.
That's a picture of your sister.
This?
She was impressive.
You can look
Is
at
it. What is it?
It's
for
the
like
band
the senior?
picture.
Oh, band
Yeah.
picture.
It's very impressive. With her big floofy thing.
The shake.
It's a plume.
The plume.
Oh, the plume. Right.
Whatever. The plume. So what's been going on with you, Q?
Nothing much apart from trying to figure myself out.
Same shit, different day.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's not easy.
It never is. And I don't think anyone that's watching or listening has ever believed that anything was easy.
Nothing worth doing is easy.
Exactly. Because if you're challenged, you're learning. We were just talking about that. If you're uncomfortable, know that you're growing. But if you're distressed, know that something needs to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're distressed, change something in the process so you'll get different results.
That makes sense.
It does.
Change things up.
But you know, that's what diversity is about. That's Joe's favorite word. I miss Joe. I mean, y'all are great and everything, that your regular schmoes are nice, but regular Joe, I miss him. And you know, he launched a rocket, his Gators rocket.
Oh.
I know. And he launched it out on the farm. And we're going to launch that Pride one sometime. I don't know when, but I'm excited about that. Q, I've been working a lot lately. I haven't chatted with you much.
No, been a lot of work, yeah.
Do you miss Grandpa?
Yeah.
He was gone like an hour and you were in here. You're like, oh man, I miss Grandpa. And I was like, I was just thinking that. It's like the house feels alive when he's here.
Yeah.
Because he's always doing something.
Yeah, he's always doing something.
It's like the house really is alive when he's here because something's being hung or moved or built or torn down, or it's ever evolving as long as he's here. It's sad whenever you think about how many people have been in this house and have evolved it to their idea of perfection and then left, you know.
Yeah.
It was hard to leave some of our houses, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Not just the people, but the house. Why do you always make noise?
I'm not making noises.
Sorry.
Why do you always make
I
noise?
don't know, but
It's one of y'all.
they're like, I mean,
Sorry for assuming.
I miss the government housing, honestly, because like it was
Which
always,
one?
Yeah, eeny,
In
meeny,
general,
miny, 20.
You show up, the place is all even and square and nice and clean, and everything is like
Where
modern.
did he live?
Right?
Oh, Linden Oaks. That's because
remember
that was a
Linden Oaks.
brand
I
new
remember
project.
Yeah,
I
Germany
remember-
was nice.
Yeah, Germany was fantastic. That was not the norm, though.
Oh, well, yeah. I do remember things being a little jankier in like North Carolina the first time around.
Yeah.
At Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Vietnam.
Piazza Ridge.
Yes, that was a jank place. That, yeah.
I think those places hadn't been updated for real since the 50s.
Oh, we froze.
We
No.
well, this stream is kind of like
So,
been running at 3 FPS.
Oh,
That's our
don't
super
start
reliable
doing
show.
that. Don't start talking all that business. Just say frames. You don't have to say FPS. You can
Okay.
just say frames.
3 frames.
Did you know there used to be a women's deodorant called FDS, but it was for the vagina?
I did not know
okay.
That's what that reminded me of when you said that. It reminded me of FDS. That's what it was
odd.
called. And it was like an aerosol. And look, I didn't use it, but Granny did.
You.
Yeah. And
That's nice to know.
Wow.
there's going to be a whole lot more that you're about to learn that you're not
I
going
think
to want to know.
it's
Well, I figured
the
that.
whole idea that really kind of messes me up is you know what it is,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's one. Then,
I don't know what it stands for,
Then
though.
you know who uses it, and they're close to you, so that every time you smell that, you know what you're smelling.
Exactly right. And so I'm telling you right now that it messes with you. So if there's women listening right now that are using that type of spray, if the person you're with, if their mothers ever used that, you have ruined their lives.
Awesome.
I'm just letting you know. Or if their grandmother or their sister or any woman they know has used it, you have totally made yourself off limits for eternity to them. Just putting that out there. So be wise with your cologne, your deodorant, Axe body spray. Be responsible with it, please. Or that god awful bod spray.
Gosh.
I don't know. Like, I never
That's
even.
what the X wore, was that bod spray. And
Yeah.
I still have some of that crap.
I actually have some.
I use it
Bod
to
brand.
strip labels off.
I have some of that.
Bod brand stuff.
Yeah. I have like a couple bottles, and I haven't touched them in probably 4 years.
Yeah, give them to
I-
Lucas because he's stanky. That boy is stanky. Well, because he's how old now?
Yeah, he's
12.
12.
Yeah, uh-huh.
He's
That's-
a little onion factory.
That's disgusting. All right, I don't know
Oliver's
why
hot
we're
on his heels,
freezing up.
though.
I don't know why we're freezing up, but
That's
I'm
our
done
super
talking.
reliable internet.
Stop. Stop. Right now, I'm not going to let you complain and be all sarcastic. It's ugly and I don't like it.
Okay.
Okay, but what I do like is my mullet, and I also like my listeners and my viewers. And
Yes.
everybody, thank you for listening to us ramble on date night about nothing and everything. About being parents. 2 trans parents. We're normal-ish.
What is normal?
Us. I'm perfect. My idea of perfect, but by cracky, that's something, right? Right?
Yeah.
It
Sure.
is. All right, guys. We're done.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody,
Wonder
for
Years.
listening. Yeah, watch the Wonder Years because I was going to